I was born in Durban, in a small town called Overport, and it was quite a small populated Indian town with things very old-fashioned, as one would expect, taking into account my age. But it was a beautiful town with beautiful people, and very exciting growing up in a farming area. Having lost my dad at a very young age, I was only 9. My second brother was 7, and my youngest brother was 3 months old. My mom was a housewife and had not worked in an entire life, so it was quite an experience for her to have to change her life from being a housewife to become a working mother, having to take care of 3 boys. My first job was coincidentally helping my mom sell samosas and fried peanuts at soccer games on every Sunday. And that's where I suppose I actually got the skill of learning how to buy and sell. I actually worked for a sole proprietor by the name of GL Bhagwan and Sons, where I used to pack his fridges, unpack his fridges, wash his floors every morning before I go to school and every afternoon before I went home from school, because I had to also take care of my 2 younger brothers to ensure that they were home on time and also that they were taken care of in terms of their meals, etc. My father worked for a company called OTH Buyer & Company based at number 100 Rainy Road in Maiden Wharf, where he was the printer. And after my dad had passed on, and when I finished my matric, I was looking for a job because my mom could not afford to send me to a tertiary institution to further my career. And she spoke to a gentleman by the name of Mr. Michael Fulcher, who was the financial director of the company. And Michael Fulcher gave me my first opportunity into shipping, where I used to sit at a typewriter typing out bills of lading for skin shipments and wool shipments that used to be done by OTH Buyer & Company to Germany. My first job in the industry was when I worked at SACD, the South African Container Depot, where I used to do estimating of containers that came into the facility and then raise estimates and reports, get them faxed to the shipping lines who own the equipment for them to be authorized for repairs. Container World was quite extensively involved in the logistics business in Durban, and I at that time was working for a company called Prestige Transport, and I used to contact a gentleman by the name of Mark Kringle, who was then the logistics manager for the Container World Group in Durban. Mark and I became very good friends, and he then once spoke to me and said to me, I do have an opening for a logistics transport controller in my office. Would you be interested? I jumped at the opportunity and I said to him, yes, I would be. And he interviewed me. I was offered an opportunity. I got the job. And 2 weeks later, I got the opportunity of meeting the managing director, Chris Lee, had a chat with him and got on with logistics and transport. And that's how I joined the Container World Group, which was on the 1st of June 1993. My success within Container World was very short, purely because Mark saw in me something very different. He had a vision of me going to greater lengths, greater heights, and growing faster within the group, because I talked a lot, I knew a lot of people, and my association and intelligence on the ground made me quite popular. So when there was an opening in the sales division within the Container World Group, Mark Kringle did not stop me from applying for the job, which I applied for and successfully obtained the position of sales executive. So from logistics to sales executive within a matter of 4 years was a quick jump into a new job a new position with new openings. My first promotion came in 1999, 2000, I would say, when the then sales manager had left the Container World Group, and I was then appointed by the managing director as the sales manager. That day was the most exciting day in my entire life, because I had never dreamt that I would be managing a company sales division in Durban, and the amount of trust and faith that was put into me to manage it was really huge, and I had to take on this massive responsibility and prove myself to Chris Lee. Well, I think having a leader like Christopher Lee is the best possible thing anybody could have actually wanted for, because he was not just what I would call a managing director who drove his business from behind a desk. Christopher Robin Lee was a working managing director, and that is something that he's passed on to me, and I follow very closely in those footsteps. His knowledge of the industry, his knowledge of people, his wisdom that he's passed on to me. I think, for one to emulate his personality is very, very hard. To fit into his footsteps and his shoes, it will be very difficult, because he is so well knowledged and so well respected, I should say. And I think the one thing that comes to my mind about why the Container World Group, together with Christopher Lee, was so successful and is so successful, is because Christopher Robin Lee's philosophy of his business is honesty and integrity, and run the business the way you would run your own. He always said that to me: run it like if it's your own business, and that will ensure true success, and it will show you, and you will shine and make yourself more, educate yourself as to where you're going, how you can actually change things to make things different. Be different, be unique, and those are the things the qualities he taught me, and that's what I like to pass on to others in my day-to-day duties as the managing director of the Container World Group. That Darren Singh is a person who leads from the front. I don't drive people from behind the desk. I lead by example, and if somebody doesn't know anything, I will always be willing to assist that person at any time, any day, whenever, wherever, and I have a total open door approach to anyone that wants to talk to me. The future generations need to understand that the Container World Group is about innovations. It's our current logo talks about continuous innovation. So we need to be more innovative in the way we think, by thinking out of the box. We are currently employing people from different walks of life, people who are of different race groups, who see things differently, who look at things differently, and people may have different ideas, and you can implement those ideas into containers. These containers must make a significant change in the lives of people, in the way they see a container and the way you see a container. How can a container make my life different? How can a container change my life? How can a container make gainfully employ me, to make me a more dependent person on the way I run my business? That's what we should start looking at. Be a bit more open-minded about the way you look at a container. Don't just see a container as a steel box. See a container as a box of tricks. My words of wisdom to the Container World Group and what I will call the family, because that is the way Christopher Robin Lee looks at all his staff, as a part of a family. Remember, if you want to be successful in your life, you've got to be honest about the way you do things. If you deliver a container, think about it as if you are spending that money on that container, and only if you are happy with the outcome and the quality that was produced, only then shall you deliver that box. But if you are not happy with it, then you know that there is a problem. Deliver a quality product all the time, every time.